Welcome back. It's 6:23, and when you think of October and Halloween, of course you think what better way to kick it off than by carving a pumpkin. So this morning I'm joined by the Lord of the Gourd, Pat Harrison, and you've been carving pumpkins for quite a while. So tell us a little bit about how you got into this.
Well, I got started because we used to own a motel in Traverse City, and we decorate the lobby every year. And my mom's the artist in the family.
Okay.
She always did the cool stuff. And so I was just trying to compete with her one year, and I slipped really bad with a knife.
Oh.
And cut a big chunk off it, and I was trying to save my carving by smoothing out the lines. And then I stood back and looked at it and realized it looked like the guy who worked at the 7-Eleven across the street.
So you noticed you had a natural knack for it.
Yes.
Well, you brought some of your pumpkins along today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've created here?
Well, some of these are pumpkins, some of them are squash.
Squash.
And yeah, we've got a Hubbard squash here, and this is like a butternut squash, but I guess it has a different name, and I'll memorize it one of these days. And this is just a green pumpkin.
Just a green pumpkin. Well, where do you find your inspiration to carve these? Because like these are very creative and really not your average looking pumpkin.
Well, basically, I look for shapes. The shapes help me a lot. I'll do almost 400 pumpkins in a 2-month period.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I need all the help I can get with ideas. So I like to just go to farmers markets or pumpkin patches, things like that, and I just clear my head and walk through, and I like to say they find me.
They find you. So do you go for the more general, like what you think of, like round pumpkin, or do you like the kind of funny shaped ones?
Oh, I want the mutant ones all the
Okay.
way. Now, I am going to do a traditional one today just because I feel I should, but I like the mutants. The ones that would go in the throwaway pile are the ones I love the most.
And where can people see all your pumpkins on display, or how do they get in touch with you to have a pumpkin done?
Well, they can find me through Facebook, through Lord of the Gourd. That's the best way to find me. Or I'm doing some local shows this week. I'll be at Nona's Restaurant tonight at the Homestead. Tomorrow I'll be at the Benzie Fall Festival. Sunday at the Great Waters Festival in St. Ignace. And Tuesday at the Bayless Library in Sault Ste. Marie.
So lots of events. I'm sure October is your very, very busy time. But what do you do the rest of the year? Do you carve other things?
I do fruit and vegetables for the rest of the year, and when I'm not doing that, I'm a musician.
Okay, so really busy. Well, you've gotten started on this one here. You're going to carve a little bit more for us coming up in the next half an hour, and we'll get a few tips on how you can make your pumpkins at home look more professional. Thanks to Pat Harrison, Lord of the Gourd. By Pat Harrison, also known as the Lord of the Gourd, who's created quite a masterpiece right here before my eyes this morning. And you've been doing this for quite a long time, but what are some tips you can give people at home who maybe want to jazz up their pumpkins this year?
Well, first off, I would say the pumpkin selection's really, really important. Because you know, you get something like these odd ones and different ones that they just have the neat shape, so you're going to have a lot cooler look to it.
Right.
I get mine at the Fruit Dock in Traverse City, which is down on Division and Randolph Street. But there's so many things that you can do with these things beyond just the normal pumpkin. Like,
Right.
like,
This is really creative here.
this is a 20-minute pumpkin. Don't do them this fast at home. But one of the things I like to tell people is just make it up. If you're making it up, you're never doing it wrong. It's coming out of your imagination. So there's just things you can do around the house. Like, say, if you want hair on it, get a nail, poke a bunch of holes in it, and stick pine needles in it. So you've got hair. If you want to make an alien, put a couple holes in it, put cattails in it for antennas.
Cool. Yeah, so you can really get creative. It doesn't just have to be like my pumpkin is like little triangles, you know, for eyes.
I can't do those to save my life. The thing to remember is there are no rules to pumpkin carving. You're never doing it wrong if it's coming out of your imagination.
Wow.
Unless you poke yourself with a knife, then you're doing it wrong.
Try not to do that. But those are the types of tools you use, just kind of basic knives. Are these special at all?
No, I use a paring knife, a little pen knife, and clay tools. Most of the stuff I use you already have at home sitting in a junk drawer somewhere. Whenever I get ambitious enough to clean my kitchen, that's when I find half my tools.
So you've obviously made hundreds, thousands of pumpkins over the years. Do you have a favorite?
I love them all. But I would have to say the Hubbard squash. I love doing those, and that's what this is, just because they come in so many different shapes and colors, and you never know what you're going to get until you cut inside the thing. I have people come up and they see like the greens and golds and reds inside, and they ask me how I painted it, and I just kind of laugh.
That's right, absolutely. And this pumpkin took you 20 minutes, but you've spent How long is the longest you think you spent on one?
The longest I spent was probably close to 8 hours, but that one weighed about 358 pounds.
So for folks at home, maybe don't tackle one that size just yet. But of course, thanks again for all the tips this morning. And you can see Pat Harrison. Where's your next show coming up?
My next show is tonight at Nona's Restaurant at the Homestead.
All right. Well, you can check out his pumpkins there or online. Check out his Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Pat Harrison, the Lord of the Gourd.